It's the difference between believing what is true and believing what is false. And I call your attention to Thessalonians. Paul spoke of people believing the truth in order to be saved. You are a human being with a choice between truth and error. So anything that you believe that is false makes you a liar. Now, you may not be doing this intentionally, but we're trying to study our way out of lies. And Paul talked about the situation with the Antichrist in Second Thessalonians 2. And he said, because these people didn't have a passion, I stress that, for truth, God gave them over to a spirit of delusion that they would wind up believing a lie. Wow. I don't make the rules here. God is the one who's interested in truth. And so if what we're saying tonight is true about the state of man and death, then you want to cling to that desperately, because your brain is in a mess if you don't. How many lies do we want to believe? I say we want to believe none. People have this idea that the Bible is simply a book about how to be a good person. There's a massive good stuff about how to be a good person in the Bible, but there's a lot of stuff too about what God is doing, who God is, and who man is. Lots of more theoretical things in the Bible too, and you're supposed to get the truth on that. So you pray to God, say, "Oh Lord, I need the truth at all costs."
Truth is always helpful, always good. Error just simply is never good. And truth, whatever truth it is that you want to focus on, and you say, well, if I'm without that truth, then so what? And I'm not saying that's what this individual is suggesting, but if I don't have that truth, then it doesn't affect me. Actually, every error does affect us, and it's like a tapestry woven through the scriptures. When we begin to take scriptures out of their true context, we weave a picture through the scriptures that is not what the scriptures actually themselves in toto are saying, then we arrive at more errors and more errors. So once we begin at any point to accept something that is not true, not right, then that begins to affect all sorts of things that we believe. In this case, if I believe that man has an immortal soul, one of the immediately unfortunate things that happens is the resurrection immediately becomes actually very changed, very twisted, if you will, I think, in our understanding and in our mind. The resurrection is everything to the people in the New Testament. Without it, we have nothing. But in reality, if we go down the immortal soul route, resurrection seems to me to be a strange inconvenience. Why would we want to even have a resurrection? You've been happy in heaven. You've gone straight to heaven. Your immortal soul is doing just fine. And now, all of a sudden, you're told, go get into that grave and come out of that with your body. It makes no sense. We should always rejoice in every truth and always seek to truth, whatever the issue may be. And if we have that heart, we will be blessed, and God will bless us yet the more as we proceed. If I think about the heaven-bound business and I take that approach, I get robbed of the real power, the real beauty of the kingdom of God on a renewed earth where Jesus Christ will be reigning and we will reign with him. That is the sort of things that we begin to trade off. Resurrection, the mightiness of true resurrection, and the matter of the true kingdom of God, which is where we will reside with Jesus Christ eternally. You always trade off anytime that you accept anything that may not be untrue.
Yes. What negative results? I mean, Jesus said you always know a tree by its fruit. The doctrine of the immortal souls, if you have a look at history, once the church gave up the whole Hebrew concept that we've been mentioning this morning, then what do you get? You get prayers to the saints. You get the saints interceding for you because they're in heaven. This is the whole idolatrous system of the Roman Catholic or Orthodox system displayed in all of its bad fruitness. That is really, really bad fruit. You get the whole development of spiritualism. You meet so-called Christian spiritualists who believe they can communicate with dead grandma or dead pa because they believe that their soul has gone to heaven. You get stories of people, Christian people, so-called, who believe that their dead, departed loved one has come back to the house and sits on the end of the bed and turns the light on and off, or blows the candle out, or some such crazy phenomenon. You get all sorts of negative results when you believe that the soul is immortal. The other thing that Dan was alluding to as well, just to add a little bit to it, is that if you believe in the immortal soul, then the whole focus for the church today has become the moment of the individual's death. That's the point of concentration, because the individual now is in heaven with God. However, the New Testament emphasis is that the resurrection for the church is a corporate event. We all are awaiting to be called out of the grave in one body. If you read, for example, Hebrews chapter 11, even the Old Testament saints are not now in heaven. They're awaiting until we all together, New Testament and Old Testament believers, are raised in one action at the return of Christ. It's a corporate event, not an individual death. The whole negative results of the immortal soul are really bad fruit. On the day of Pentecost, Peter said, David is in the tomb. He's dead. He's not the one who's ascended, whereas Christ has. So this whole immortal soul and heaven-bound destiny has massive negative results, detracting from the gospel, as well as opening the floodgate to a whole host of spiritual, demonic influence and impersonation.